What is something super important that is on the verge of happening? The Special Olympics World Games will happen in 2 weeks in Dubai, and I'll be participating as an athlete. Wow, so many upvotes. Thanks guys and girls. I'll be participating in the shot put and track event for the Danish national team. I'm officially terrified. Thank you. Fully self-driving cars. They will be a huge convenience and ease traffic congestion, but will put millions of people out of work. We're in the midst of a fourth industrial revolution, automation. This revolution will basically see the near-complete removal of human muscle from most of the economy. Trades, professions, services, and knowledge work should be okay, but manufacturing jobs will be hit hard. We're going to have to figure out what to do with a significant portion of the population that can no longer find productive work. I'm dying. I'm trying to live my days till I either get some dead guy's organ or die a slow and painful, from what I'm told, death. I love my life. I'm in a constant process of good things happening. I don't worry. I'm a good dad. I get to spend my days with the girl of my dreams and our wonderful existence. I'm living in overtime. Anything can happen. If you take the time and look at everything from a meta perspective, all this stuff like automation, the student loan bubble, and the boomer mass retirement are all going to happen within the next 30-40 years. All these issues will be happening while the biggest issue of them all, the environment, will be going to crap. So I think something big is going to happen because of all of it. Whether that's a cultural revolution that leads to an actual change in how we think as a species for the betterment of mankind, or if it's just a bunch of nukes, who knows? Especially once you take politics, religion, and international relations and all of their inherent unpredictability into account. Being clean of opiates. 1 month is coming up in 2 days. The first time I have been clean for more than a few days in 7 years. I realize this may not be important to anyone else, but it's the most important thing to me. The effects bee and insects extinctions. Pesticides are really fucking bad. A large number of Americans are falling behind on their subprime car loans, which could lead to another '08 economic collapse. Pakistan and India are probably on the verge of war. This is a depressing thread. Privacy is disappearing, and there's little to no way to save it. Cameras, sensors, etc. are everywhere, and software is mining the data for information on us. The software is ever improving and the sensor coverage is ever increasing. An overdue recession and a correction in the housing market. I feel like something big is going to happen regarding antibiotic resistance. We'll start to really see the effects of the problem within the next few years. I'm quitting my job as a sailor to become a stand-up comedian. Wish me luck. I feel like the fucking of my life. Last season of Game of Thrones. India and Pakistan are escalating tensions. And they both have nukes. There is a company called Licky Glide which creates and sells Licky Glide, a substance that can be applied to a surface that would be able to make pretty much nothing stick to it. This will allow us to make food and other sticky substance containers that can be emptied completely and recycled as clean containers, able to be refilled again with little to no cleaning. I'm starting my own woodworking store. Smile. Climate change is no longer in the future, it is now. The hottest years recorded all but one happened since 2000. What's on the verge of happening is people realizing the scale of the problem. I will know by the 28th of this month if I got an internship at the place where I have been dreaming of working. Not important to everyone but crazy important for me. Update 1, 7:49 p.m. the 28th of February 2019. No update. Radio silence. But they send rejections before acceptances, so ... Maybe I should be excited? I will update again when I hear back. Update 2, 10:32 a.m. the 3rd of March 2019. Just got a rejection email. Summer school it is. Me meeting my biological mother for the first time. I'm meeting her next week sometime. I know this isn't important to anyone else, but it is important to me and it is on the verge of happening, so you know. Thought I would sneak in something less depressing on this thread. Folding phones. Fusion. A post-industrial revolution. This will either be its own economic miracle, or a response to a failing global ecosystem or economy. Either way, it is inevitable. I am currently sitting in the labor and delivery at the hospital waiting for my son to be born. So there's that. Personally, I think I'm going to start seeing a therapist for a bit. The mental health checkup I never had. In the 2020 Olympics held in Japan, Japan is revealing the first ever flying car. The piece of Antarctica twice the size of NYC that's breaking off soon. Also the 1,000-foot deep hole in Antarctica the size of Manhattan. Global warming naysayers prove this wrong. A lot of 3-year-olds dying thanks to anti-vaxx parents. Article 13 is being voted on. I feel like we are going to have a new type of cable company situation going on. One of the things that made Netflix great was you were able to watch so many different shows and movies, but many of those are leaving now. TV companies like CBS and Disney would rather have their shows on their own paid service app instead of on Netflix where they only get a piece of the cut. Netflix even knows this, which is why they are pushing their original content so much. What's going to happen is that if we are to enjoy all the shows we would like to, we are going to have to pay for multiple streaming services, basically how it was paying for cable channels. 76ers center Boban Marjanovic is going to appear in John Wick 3 as an assassin attempting to kill Keanu Reeves. Legalization of magic mushrooms. I have a date this weekend and I really want to kiss her. We've gone out a few times and we've been hitting it off really well. I've got a really good feeling about her, so wish me luck. 3D printing of human skin, tissues and eventually organs. I'm quitting my job and going back to school soon. My internship ends in April and I'll be a fully fledged lab technician in molecular genetics. My last job was horrible and I quit because the constant critique and shitting on my work dumped me into burnout and depression. I gave up on ever working in a lab again. Now I'm here since October 2018 and I found an amazing firm with great people and really interesting work. The pay might be really mediocre, but all I care about is me doing good work and my superiors being happy about my work. I'll try my hardest, and I sure hope it's enough. We are about to head into a recession. A lot of outdated big companies are dying off. The unemployment caused by this and the fact that these companies aren't buying products they used to creates a cascading effect that leads to a recession. Pokemon Direct. We're on the verge of the next global recession. Most people still haven't recovered financially from the last one in terms of earnings and quality of life. In the last recession, governments bailed out failing banks to the tune of hundreds of billions. There is no capacity in the system for that to happen this time. This one is going to be catastrophic. Human immortality. It's been predicted that the first human to have an extended lifespan has already been born, and we theoretically have the technology to keep a human brain functioning for a little while after death, like a couple hours. Quantum computing, in a large scale. It will provoke a shift in cybersecurity. I suspect it will also be a first step towards general AI, or a really sentient, cognitive AI. The anti-vaxx epidemic. The automation of like half the job force. Catastrophic climate change. If we can't get down to basically net zero emissions by 2050, we risk a large part of the land around the equator being completely uninhabitable because of high temp and humidity without special equipment. Lyme disease epidemic. For 13 years I found myself going to psychiatrists and doctors that were telling me I was making up my symptoms and that I was just mental. Come to find out I actually had Lyme disease. I was diagnosed 4 years ago and I'm still very sick even after treatment. It did not work. In the 4 years I've had the diagnosis, it was a rare disease affecting only 3,000 people per year. I've seen it with my own eyes and it's quite disturbing that in that short amount of time the CDC estimates 300,000-1 million people will be infected this year. It is now the fastest growing vector-borne illness in America. If you get bit by a tick, you need to seek medical treatment right away and demand to be treated with antibiotics to stop the spread of this disease into literally every organ and muscle in your body. When left untreated, it is impossible to get rid of and you end up like me with the chronic version, which is a living nightmare. Everyone is just one bite away from being in my boat and I think people need to know about it. It's the most important thing. Awareness and education saves lives.